The Brony fandom has overlapped with other communities for years now, and it's usually because they share something with each other. My Little Pony and Doctor Who are probably the two most notable examples, mainly due to the height of popularity each saw during the early 2010s, in addition to a background pony bearing a suspiciously similar resemblance to David Tennant's 10th Doctor. But probably the most curious and significant crossover of them all is My Little Pony and Team Fortress 2. It seems kind of bizarre that a show about cute cartoon horses and a violent multiplayer shooter would end up having such a strong connection with one another. It's not really known where its overlap first began, but it can easily be suspected that it came from My Little Pony Source Filmmaker animations. Source Filmmaker, or SFM for short, was a tool made to help Valve make a variety of films in Team Fortress 2, including cutscenes, trailers, and more, with the benefits being able to seamlessly blend traditional 3D animation with gameplay. The tool allowed you to upload your very own models, and if you can make a pony with it, I promise you the Brony fandom will try. So these My Little Pony SFMs turned Bronies into Team Fortress 2 fans and turned Team Fortress 2 fans into Bronies. After all these years, it still just feels right seeing My Little Pony characters next to Team Fortress 2 characters for no other reason than you just had to be there to get it. At Mayfair this year, there was an entire panel about My Little Pony and Team Fortress 2, which I missed, but hey, it still goes to show you how much of an impact it had. You can find a plethora of art, animations, mods, and more that combines these two unlikely worlds. But if you know anything about this crossover, you probably know the most ambitious project surrounding it. On November 27th, 2014, YouTuber Dr. Wolf started the TF2 Analysis series, an animated series featuring members of the Brony analysis community role-playing a variety of different Team Fortress 2 skits. You know, this is really cute, a real who's who of old Brony YouTube. I really wonder what the fandom looked like by the time this ended. How many episodes were there? 10? 15? Holy! They haven't stopped making these. Not everything here is a full episode, but the fact that it's still going mind boggles me. I'm not going to be a background noise YouTuber, I'm not going to be reviewing and ranking every single episode, but I am going to have a general look at this series. Because out of all the My Little Pony fan projects, I doubt anybody's going to be covering this anytime soon. But before this video starts, I would like to say a quick message. No, it's not a sponsor segment, but it's a personal update I'm giving to you guys. Usually I would put these at the end of the video, but by that point most people would end up clicking off. This is an update in regard to the My Little Pony Chronicles fan project. We are currently looking for a couple of new positions. These include artists, both character and background, composers, musicians, lyricists, and 3D modelers for environments, architecture, and interiors. If you are 16 and older and would like to volunteer, please follow the link into our vetting Discord server below or scan the QR code on screen now to submit your portfolio for review. Also, please make sure to check out our official YouTube and Twitter accounts for future updates. Now let's get back to the regular video. So if you don't know, the mercenaries in Team Fortress 2 are split into 9 distinct classes, so each distinct community member has to take up the role of one of the mercenaries. Since there are more than 9 members of the My Little Pony analysis community, some double up on previous classes. So for example, the Scout class is represented by Ink Rose and I Look Impossible a lot. Listen, I know I just said KP and some of you guys are probably tugging at your collars right now, but listen guys, it's a 10-year-old series and not all of these are going to particularly age the best. So I'm not gonna stop and analyze and shake my head and wag my finger at every cancelled member. I mean, it's just Team Fortress 2 skits. I doubt they're gonna be invoking anything particularly egregious.
Hey, Doctor, what do you think of Ink? I don't know, don't you think she has a nice laugh?
Oh, come on! The first episode? Alright, so if I'm gonna be doing this, I need to address the elephant in the room. Ink Rose and Josh Scorcher. So before Dream Not Found or Septiplier, fandoms on YouTube were still shipping together real people. This would go for the Brony fandom as well, particularly with the OCs many of these creators would make. Some would be their own characters and others would be representations of themselves. Josh Scorcher and Ink Rose would be an example of two people who would go back and forth between this. Sometimes it's themselves, sometimes it's their own characters, to which they would become a pretty popular ship amongst the community, and one that this series would indulge in. To an uncomfortable degree. Why is it so uncomfortable? Because she was 16 and he was 22. If it was just this series, I would understand. It's in this weird gray area where I don't think anybody involved with it was thinking that deeply about it, neither Josh or Rose. But then there's like this mock couples therapy thing they do with Dr. Wolf, where it's this personal, emotionally driven insight into different members of the Brony fandom. Josh would then later end up meeting Rose in real life and realize just how insanely uncomfortable this is. Which is like, no shit dude, but at least you finally cut it off. There's technically nothing illegal with this, it was just the most awkward series of personal errors I have ever seen. And it represents this blemish in the early fandom that shows they weren't aware that this could have been a potential issue. I just wanted to say this because I didn't want to focus on that for the rest of the video.
Hey, Brand!
Yes, Ink?
The Mad Milk icon says this is a non-milk substance. If it's not milk, then what is it?
Soy. It's soy.
Oh, I get it now. That's why it gives you health. Thanks, Brand.
Okay, dude, what the fuck? It's kind of hard to explain the appeal of these sorts of animations when you just weren't around for it. It felt like its own little pocket of My Little Pony. Seeing community OCs interact was just fun to watch. It's kind of like those big Channel Awesome movies, but for an even smaller demographic. The fact that they do them so frequently to this day that they have an entire movie released just last year shows that they're really just doing these animations for themselves now. And I have deep appreciation for that. Usually, people who make an indie animated parody fear being stuck in one place forever, but they are just doing it for the love of the game, literally. It's also really nice because you get to hear the voices of people who aren't really active in the fandom anymore or online at all. It's always a treat to hear the Wilsonator voice for this series, and retain his iconic dynamic with Joey Turner. These two were some of the first YouTubers I ever watched, and I think I basically followed them into the My Little Pony fandom unknowingly, so I feel immense nostalgia listening to these two. But all this talk of people staying around makes you wonder about the people who left, and trust me, there's quite a number of them. I'm not going to be going over every single one of them, mainly because half of it is they just weren't interested anymore. So for example, Silver Quill just left because of reasons, even though he is still very much a My Little Pony channel. There was Toon Critic who was removed for obvious reasons. And no offense to anybody involved, but I'm surprised they had the dignity to not even acknowledge it when the series continued. They just ignored him like he never even existed and continued on. Then there's Phantom Horn, who left after the first episode because his character was canonically killed off. Not even any actual controversies, just canonically killed off for a gag. I know he doesn't make the best first impression to either this series or to his channel in this episode, but going back through his older videos, this guy is genuinely hilarious. Like, there's this sense of life in the TBBAP videos that are just not found anywhere else in the fandom. Even if this stuff might be particularly poorly aged, it has its charm. I think Lily Pete was the only one that was removed because of personal drama within the series, which, you know, bullet dodged, because holy shit is this lady unhinged. She was removed due to frequent harassment and abuse, which is somehow only the tip of the iceberg. She also said some pretty gross sexual things about Ink Rose. I think you guys should have been worried about that like a long time ago. But what's really surprising to me is that Ink Rose's final appearance in this series was the 2-hour-long film Red vs. Blue that released in 2020. That's 3 years after her last official contribution to the fandom. She's got like actual important things to do now, like game development and stuff. Wait, did I say a 2-hour-long movie? Yes, the creme de la creme of this series is a 2-hour-long movie. And they still continue to make more episodes after that. You can tell they're wearing their Channel Awesome inspiration on their sleeve, because they're just throwing fucking anything in here. Like, The Mask is in this, like from the Jim Carrey movie, The Mask, starring Jim Carrey, and they all have like these super forms, I guess.
So let's all take a chill pill and sort this out. Do I make myself clear?
Look out, you guys, Ultra Aryan coming through. He's about to tell us why Black Lives Matter is violent and teaching children that racism is bad is bad. To find this sort of video funny or interesting, you need the context of 24 other people who all have their own unique quirks and characters and niches, so you probably wouldn't know a character like Mary Sue unless you watch Mad Munchkin's videos. Or you probably wouldn't know as to why there are so many Thompson Friends or Homestar Runner or Power Rangers references if you don't watch Joey Turner's videos. Or the Zootopia poster gag if you don't know who AC Race Best or Saberspark is. But I love that they kept this all in. I love that they kept everyone a decent reflection of who they are in their content. I would argue that this is better than the Channel Awesome movies simply because of that fact alone. With the Channel Awesome movies, the focus was on the nostalgia critic and not Channel Awesome as a whole, so they just kind of make shit up for the less popular members. You can feel the love and dedication to the community, and I can't really imagine another fandom that could do something to this scale. I would say it took itself a bit too seriously at the end, but it's Dr. Wolf, what can I expect? He's a sentimental man. And that's all I really have to say about this bizarre little fucked up experiment in the fandom. It was messy and very amateur, but I wouldn't want it any other way. It probably won't have the same impact as something like My Little Portal or the modern day Infection AUs, but I do think it's something worth celebrating. It is the ultimate representation of a fandom from yesteryear, and as the Brony fandom trudges on forward to an uncertain future, I hope we can still have fun like this. But now I want to turn the question on to you. What do you think of this series and the unlikely pairing to begin with? I would love to read what you guys have to say in the comments below. Anyway, that's all the time I have for today. Thank you for watching. I've been May, and I'll see you next time.